I remember, because we'd only been married a short period of time, and Philip's mother and father were struggling with the diagnosis. And I remember Philip's father saying to me, "I wish it was me." But his mother took an interesting approach because she had her own struggle, and having just been recently married, my mother-in-law said to me, "You must regret marrying Philip." And again, I respected that she was on her own journey, and I said to her, "Faye, there is no regret. This is part of our life together. We married for all the right reasons, and we are here for one another." And in actual fact, one of the things that Philip had confided in me was the night before his surgery, he had a photo that was taken at our wedding, because he didn't sleep, obviously, the night before the surgery, and he just looked at that photo all night, and he said, "I have just found the woman of my dreams. I'm not going to die." And that was, I will still remember that to the day I die. And I remember very clearly that to me it was we never used the word battle, because I think that's too much like war and fighting. But we did choose to tackle this disease head on, so to speak, and not just accept that it was 5% survival at 5 years and that Philip would be in the 95%. We decided, both of us, and deeply, and I believe sincerely, that Philip would be in the 5% and would survive this devastating illness. And oh gosh, that was in 1991, and we're in now 2016, so it's 25 years later, and he's still here, and he's still giving me love and grief, sometimes all at the same time.
I was determined that I was not going to die, and there was only one occasion post-surgery where my confidence that I was going to beat the health issue that I had, there was only one occasion where I was unhappy for a day or so, and that was when my surgeon told me that I was node positive, because node positive means the cancer has escaped from the primary site, and then you knew that your prognosis had a lot to do, not exclusively, but a lot to do with the ability of the surgeon to detect all of those nodes that were cancerous at remote sites from the primary tumour. Now, I had two surgeons operating on me for quite a long time, two very large incisions, and one surgeon was operating through one incision and the other surgeon was operating through the other incision. So it was very invasive surgery, probably more invasive than what's normally done, because in 65-year-old men, there isn't the same determination to go for broke, but I was a young man at 41, and those two surgeons, bless their hearts, went for broke. Now, it did mean that it took a fair while to recover, and it did mean I had a fair bit of post-operative pain, but as Kaylene's just observed, it's 25 years ago. And I vividly remember running into my oncologist at a social occasion some five years later. And this was the only one of 4 oncologists that I consulted that I had any confidence in. All of the other people were very negative in my view, and I said, well, thanks very much, but I'm not going to be treated by people who are negative. And this guy had just returned from training as an oncologist in the United States, and he was at the very start of his career and was incredibly positive and said, we can beat this thing. And it was this guy I met 5 years later And I said, do you remember me? And he said, of course I do. He said, we all thought you were a goner. And I remember that vividly. So 4 marks to him. When he first consulted with me, he was extremely positive, even though he thought that I had a poor prognosis.